Hey, y'all, hey. So I'm into the thick of looking at analytics now. So let's look at some TikTok analytics, and I'm gonna explain to you what I'm getting out of what I'm analyzing, which is the data. So here, Professor Todd will be over there to tell you guys more. Hello, everyone. This is Professor Todd, your podcast technology professor. And today we're going to talk about TikTok analytics because if you're going to use the technology, you need to know how to analyze, to know what's working and what's not working so you can pivot and tweak as needed. So I'm looking here now. This is the overview of my analytics. In the last 7 days, I've had over 5,000 video views, but I've lost close to 11,000 views, which is my usual average. So my video views are going down. My reach audience is almost 4,000, but that's almost a 70% decrease. My profile views are at 31, but that's close to a 60% decrease. So this is looking at the last 7 days. And then the same for the engagement, that is down. I don't have any of this. I do have net growth, so I gained 3 followers, but that's down almost 70% as well. My new followers, I have 9 new followers, but that's down a little over 50%. My lost followers is 6, so that's down about 40%. So when I looked at this data just based on the last 7 days, when I got here, I said, so I'm gaining followers, but I'm also losing followers. And I said, my content has changed. So now I have to recalibrate, or the algorithm actually has to recalibrate my profile because one specific audience that I was reaching, now that I'm transitioning into more on podcast technology and things like that, is recalibrating to that particular audience that's looking for technology. So I'm going to lose some, but I'm going to gain some. This is over the last 7 days. Let's look over the last 28 days. So if you look here, still the video views are down by almost 20%. The reach audience is down a little over 20%, but the profile views went up significantly. It was almost a 10% increase. So when I'm looking at all of this, the comments went up almost 20, a little over 20%. The likes went down close to 30%, and the shares went down close to 40%. But then when I look down here, I had net growth of 25 followers. So the total new followers that I had was 64. So both of those, the net growth up almost 1,000%. And then the new followers, that is up about 31%. But I lost followers, and that's down by almost 34%. So looking at that, I'm like, well, wait a minute. If the lost followers is down, that means that I'm losing. How can I word this right? I have it in my head, but I need to figure out how to say it, and that's what I'm working on. My new followers basically are outweighing the ones that's lost. So it's kind of when I say everyone will not be able to go with me into this next journey, it's basically me understanding, hey, everybody is not into technology. So you're gonna lose those people that just they don't want to hear that. But you're gonna gain the ones that want to hear it, and the ones that were already there, that's something they have an interest in as well, they'll stay. So I feel like that's balancing out. But then let's look at the last 60 days. So if you look at the last 60 days, my views overall are up almost 13%. My reached audience is up almost 20%. My profile views are down almost 30, a little over 30%. And I'm still trying to figure out what y'all be looking for. Like when you go and look at somebody's profile, maybe you're looking to see what type of content. Because I do this sometimes. I'll go and look at someone's profile because they might have a specific video and I'm engaging in it and I'm liking it. And I'm like, hold on, before I follow this person, I need to see, is this a normal for them or do they just be acting crazy? Because some stuff I just don't want on my timeline. And a lot of times when I go look at the content, I'll go through a couple videos. And if I see the videos that I like, okay, I'll like maybe 2 or 3 videos. And then after that, I'll follow and then I'll go off their page. So maybe that's what you guys are doing. So if that's what you're doing, I really was trying to figure out what y'all be looking for. So I think I answered my question. So thank you. Please be sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell to get notified when we go live or when we post new content. Be sure to like if you are finding value in the content that I am creating. And that will help YouTube to distribute the content to the correct audience. The algorithm will pick up and start putting this content in front of the right people. Please be sure to comment. If you have a question, I will reply with a video comment. And I will tag you in this particular video to let you know that your video is coming up or give you the link to the video. And I just want to thank you all because I really, 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 really do enjoy doing this. So I think overall in the past 60 days, which is basically the last 2 months, and with 30 days to impact, you make small incremental changes and then you just watch them. So now I'm making these changes to my social media platform and my overall goal of what I want to accomplish in this new season of my life. I measure that every 30 days using 30 days to impact. So when we look at the engagement, we see engagement is down over 50%. So, damn. Shares are down almost 70%. Comments are down almost 35%. But this is when I said, you know what? It's okay. When I got down here, I have no growth. I have no growth at all over the past 60 days. I have 116 new followers, but I also have 116 lost followers. So my new followers are down almost 70%, and my lost followers are down almost 50%. But also because I'm shifting my platform over to YouTube, that's why on TikTok, I have this break-even point, is what it's called. So in business, say for instance, if you spend $2,500 to get your business started, and then after the first year, you've only made $2,500, like there's no profit, there's no deficit. That's called a break-even point. So I feel this is the break-even point. So what I will do in the next 30 days, because I'm looking at this on November 19th, so close to Christmas, I would want to look, engage, okay, is TikTok still growing? Has the algorithm recalibrated? And then look and compare that against my YouTube analytics, because YouTube analytics is looking really good because that's where I'm putting all of my time, my effort, and my energy. So I'm going to start really engaging with the community that I'm building there. And I hope you guys are finding value in me sharing these things as I go and dig in and really try to understand it. But this made me happy. So now we can go and look at the audience. And this gives me my audience information. And I'm going to just look from now, I'm just going to look over the last 60 days. So I already know I had 116 followers, but it's telling me that's down. But to me, I'm like, yeah, it's down, but I've switched over the type of content that I was posting too. So I have to take that into consideration, because if something happens, whether it's a plus or a minus, you still need to identify what the cause of it was, because if it's a plus, that means you need to do more of whatever that thing is. And if it's a minus, that means you need to stop. But if you're rebranding, so to speak, you have to figure that recalibration time frame into your rebranding forecast. So when you're forecasting, you're trying to say in X amount of months, years, whatever, this is what I plan to see. But you have to build into that the recalibration time frame. So that means you would take 5 years and break that down into 1 year, like year. So year 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then within each year, you would break that down into months. And that's how you would gauge. And then those months you even break down to weeks. And then the weeks you even break down to days. And then you're distributing a percentage of whatever that goal is over those 5 years. You take the 5 years and you break it down into 1 year increments. Then you take the 1 year increments and you break it down into monthly increments. You take the monthly increments and you break them down into weekly increments. The weekly increments are broken down into daily increments. And that's how you can determine if you're on goal, over goal, or under goal. So that's just a real quick high level explanation of forecasting and running your analytics, which is something that I didn't do a lot of in the past. It helps you better gauge those goals that you plan on setting. So if I was to say over the next 5 years, I want to have X amount of subscribers on YouTube, I would have to break that down to determine, okay, based on that, how many do I need to have each day? Like when people say I want to be a millionaire, it's like, okay, then I need to make this much money each day. And a lot of people walk away with that, but I say to myself, that's very unrealistic because nobody works 365 days a year. You have to take some time off for yourself, whether you get sick and cannot work or something happens and it's just like you decide to shut down for the holidays. If you shut down for the holidays, there's no revenue being made unless you have something built in where the revenue is just coming in every day without you needing to do anything. Then that's a good way to do it. But if you're, say, for instance, you're a hairstylist, you're not going to work 365 days a year. So when you're doing your forecasting, you need to subtract out time you plan on not working. So let's just say you plan on taking a 2-week vacation, and then you're accounting 2 weeks for any sick time or emergency. So basically, at least 1 month out the year, you're not working. So you want to base all your forecasting on working 11 months, but you spread out those numbers over all 12. I don't know how we got into me talking business, but maybe because I'm doing analytics. But anywho, so I'm like, okay, on that. But look, total followers is up. My total followers is up a little over 2%. So that's good. We're looking at the audience. Yeah, new followers are down, but my total followers has actually increased. My reach audience has increased almost 18%. Now my engaged audience is down close to 55%. But again, I'm pivoting and starting to post different content because now we have 2 different podcasts. There's 2 different seasons. So when one podcast is in season, the other podcast is out of season. So therefore, I'll always have a podcast going on. But on one side, I'm really focused on the technology side. And then on the other side, I'm focused on the person, the mindset side. So it's 2 different things, but they still kind of go together. So I think these are good analytics and good numbers. It's a very good balance. I have close to 60% female and a little over 40% male as far as who my audience is. So to me, that's a perfect balance. It's not 50-50, but it's close. Then when I look at the age groups, I'm looking at the percentage in here. This is a good balance. So basically, my audience is consistent of people anywhere from the age of 18 to over 55. The lowest is 18 to 24, which is close to 17%. But then the age 25 to 44, they're both the same at almost 23%. So when I look at my top countries, shockingly enough, 43% is from Nigeria. And then 48% is from the US. And then we have UK, we have Pakistan, we have Canada, Spain, Germany, Panama, and Taiwan. That's a good range that I'm connecting with that audience. Then when you look at top cities, Lagos, like Nigeria, Abeokuta, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I think it sounds like it's Nigerian. So my top two cities are not even in the US. Dallas is coming in at number 3, but look, these are still in single digits. These up here are at close to 20%. So that tells me something. And then when I look at the activity, most of the activity is happening at night. Let's see. We can change the day. Look at that. So now I can look and see when is my audience most active. And I'm looking over the last 60 days. This is probably over the last 7 because this is November 8th. So 2 p.m. they were active, 10 p.m. on the 9th. 4 a.m. And then you have like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., 5 a.m., 10 p.m., that's 11 p.m. So that's giving me a range for me to know, okay, based on these times, this is when your audience is most active. So these are the time frames that I should be using to post. Next, let's look at video. And we just want to look over the last 60 days. So it's telling me the views, likes, comments, and shares. And then I can determine from these videos what I want to make a add on, and I can sort by newest or most viewed. So let's look at most viewed. Most viewed is right here with 1,300 video views, and that's from September. We have this one with 413. This one had 19 likes and 3 comments, so we can look at that. And that's the Google Analytics page in a nutshell. And over the past 60 days, I had a total of 123 posts. 28 days, 60-day posts. The last 7 days, I've only posted 13 posts. So I can tell from that, I've probably slowed down significantly from posting. But now I have more information about my audience. And because now we're transitioning over, I want to run everything last 7 days because I want to be able to gauge it every 7 days. And then when we get into December, then I'm going to look at the last 60 days again, because then that needle has moved further because, it's the older date. But right now, I'm okay with this net growth, even though it's showing it's down, because I dug into the data and I looked at the last 60 days and I'm like, oh, hold on, I'm breaking even. I gained 116 and I lost 116, but I've changed my content. So that's why I'm seeing the changes here. But when I'm looking at my reach over the last 60 days, that has increased significantly versus when I look at the last 7 days. So if I focused on just the last 7 days, I would probably be beating myself up, but I had to go back and look. And this right here tells me I'm doing something right, because you can even look in here. I'm doing something right. In here, you started to see a change. And I haven't been posting that much on TikTok in November because I've been busy shifting everything to YouTube. So a lot of my posts and engagement are coming on YouTube, and what's showing on TikTok is really the shorts and the reels of what's on YouTube. So thank you all for joining. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much. I'm just so appreciative. And when I'm doing these, I actually see an audience full of people learning. And I appreciate the vision that I have, because one day there will be an audience that will talk to me full of people that are learning from my content. Peace out. I love y'all. Bye.